Very good morning to all. Today we will start with the disorders, that is, first disorders that is related to the menstruation or abnormalities of menstruation, that will be the same. So, if asked in the exams, you can write abnormalities, disorders of the menstruation, both are the same. Okay? First condition, that is amenorrhea. Okay? Amenorrhea, that is absence or abnormal cessation of the menstruation. Means the girls, they are having no any menstruation, or they are having absence of the menstruation, or abnormally they have stopped the menstruation, that is known as the amenorrhea. Okay, so definition, it is the absence or abnormal cessation of the menses, that is menstrual. In the book, you may see only two types, primary and secondary, but they both comes under the pathological amenorrhea. Here we will see the two types or two classification of the amenorrhea, that is physiological amenorrhea and second one is the pathological. If you know the difference between physiology and pathology, then physiology, it is a normal process. Means there is no any disease, but it's a natural process that is happens under the body. In pathology, that is something related to disease, means that there is an abnormality in the uterus, ovary, or anywhere, and due to that, the absence of menstruation will be there. Okay, so two classifications: physiological and pathological. Control of menstrual cycle, that we already discussed in the previous lecture, that hypothalamus under the influence of gonadotropin releasing hormone, that will influence the pituitary and endocrine, then ovaries and output tract axis. Okay, that is we already discussed this all the things, that FSH, LH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, then estrogen, progesterone, ovulation. So we will not repeating this. Next, classification of amenorrhea, there is physiological and pathological. Physiological, that is a normal process, that is pre-puberty, means before the menarche or before the age of the puberty, the girls, they are having amenorrhea or they are having no any menstruation. Second, that is pregnancy related. If you know about the pregnancy, then during the 9 months, the women, they are having the amenorrhea or they are having the absence of the menstruation. And next, that is a menopause. Menopause is cessation of the menstrual cycle after the age, that is 50 to 60 years of the age, the woman, they are having the menopause. So that is about the physiological. And second one is the pathological under the two conditions or two classifications, that is primary and secondary amenorrhea. Okay. Primary means the girls, they are having no any menstrual cycle, means they have not started a single menstrual cycle, they have not experienced a menstrual cycle. And secondary means anytime the girls or women, they are having normal menstrual cycle, but due to some reasons the menstruation will be stopped, so they have previously experienced the menstruation, that is secondary. Okay, so classification: physiological and pathological. Under the physiological, that is pre-puberty, pregnancy related, and menopause. And in the pathological, primary and secondary. Pathological amenorrhea, in the patient is diagnosed with primary amenorrhea if she has not reached the menarche by the age of 16 with normal secondary sexual character. It means the development of the breast, there is a growing of the pubic hairs and all those things. There is a secondary sexual characteristics. And secondary amenorrhea, it's established the mentions they are having cysts for longer than 6 months without any physiological reasons. Okay, physiological reasons that we already know, that there is a pregnancy, next pre-puberty and menopause. Okay, so that's two types: primary amenorrhea and secondary. Primary amenorrhea, she has not reached the menarche, means there is no starting of the menstruation by the age of 16, but she is having a normal secondary sexual characters. And secondary, the menses, they have ceased for longer than 6 months, means previously she is having normal menstrual cycle and you suddenly they are getting stopped for longer than 6 months, that is known as secondary amenorrhea. Okay, now etiology of amenorrhea. So etiology, they are divided under the five conditions, that is hypothalamus, that is the conditions they are related to hypothalamic. Next, pituitary, that is related to pituitary gland. Endocrine, that's related to hormone. Next, that is ovaries and outward tract axis. These are the etiology of a menorrhea. Okay. Now we will see first, that is a hypothalamus. Okay, hypothalamus, you already know that's a main, we can say it's a main organ which relates or which controls all the body. So hypothalamic hypogonadism. Hypo means there is a decrease. So there is decreased function of the hypothalamus and decreased release of the gonadotrophin. It's a main or leading cause for the amenorrhea. Second, there is a weight related amenorrhea. That is, if the women they are having very low body weight, if they are having a nutritional deficiency. Next, if they are suffering from the anorexia nervosa, then they can have the amenorrhea. Okay. Other conditions under the hypothalamus, that is any brain tumor near a pituitary gland. Okay. So any brain tumor near this pituitary gland, then there is known as craniopharyngioma. It is also a cause for the amenorrhea. Next, a tumor that is made up of mixture of the tissues, that is sometimes known as the teratoma. If teratoma is there, then also the primary amenorrhea will be there. Next, sometimes the chronic diseases due to unknown causes. There are maybe chances that there are tumors in different parts of the body, that is known as sarcoidosis. Here that's not mentioned, but remember this. Next is the Kalman syndrome. Kalman syndrome, that is nothing but that is a hypogonadism. That is a deficiency of the gonadotropin, and which secretes the hormones. They are capable for promoting growth and function of the reproductive organs. Nutritional deficiency, if the girls they are having any deficiency of the nutrition, then it's also a cause for the amenorrhea under the hypothalamic cause. Okay, so that is about the causes or etiology under the hypothalamus. I'm repeating: first, hypothalamic hypogonadism. Next one, that is weight related amenorrhea, means low body weight, nutritional deficiency, anorexia nervosa. Next, that is a craniopharyngioma, means there is a brain tumor. Next, teratoma, a mixture of tissues tumor. Next, formation of some nodes or tumors in different parts of the body. Sarcoidosis and Kallman syndrome, that is a deficiency of the gonadotropin. That's are about the hypothalamus causes. Okay. Second one, that is a pituitary causes. Okay, pituitary glands. Okay, how it is responsible for the amenorrhea. Okay. So under that there are two conditions, that is a pituitary adenoma, and Sheehan's syndrome. Okay. So the causes under the pituitary, that is first, that is pituitary adenoma. Okay. Pituitary, that is that is a pituitary gland, and adenoma. They are non-cancerous tumors. They are developed inside the skull, but they are not growing outside, and they are non-cancerous, and they cease or they decrease the function of the pituitary gland. Second one is the Sheehan syndrome. Okay. Sheehan syndrome, it's a condition that is arises due to any injury to the pituitary at the time of the birth or at the time of the labor. Okay. During the labor, the head is passes through the vagina and cervix. So there are chances that the injury to a pituitary will be there, and that condition is known as the Sheehan syndrome. And under the Sheehan syndrome, the affected girls they are having a hyposecretion, means very low secretion of the hormones. Okay, so these two conditions are there. The rest condition, that is first, that is a prolactinemia. Okay, prolactin, you know, that is a hormone that is responsible for the secretion of the breast milk. Okay, so a high blood level of prolactin is there, then the hormone stimulates the secretion of milk from the breast during the breastfeeding, and it possibly caused by the prolactinoma. Okay, and due to that, the higher level of prolactin, the breast milk production, and it can develop a prolactinoma, that is a tumor of the pituitary gland. They are secreting the hormone prolactin. Second, if any other tumor inside the pituitary glands, any tumors around the pituitary, they can also cause the amenorrhea. Second, a postpartum pituitary necrosis. Necrosis, you know that there is a death of the cells. Okay? So death of pituitary cells after a woman delivers a baby. So after that date, in the postpartum period, if there is all the cells are dead, then there are chances that the pituitary necrosis can be developed. Next, autoimmune hypophysis. It is a cell of the pituitary gland destroyed by body's own defenses. Autoimmune means by self. Okay? And hypophysitis, that is the cells of the pituitary glands. They are destroyed by the body's own system. Next, pituitary radiation. The pituitary gland is under the exposure of the radiation, that is either X-ray, UV rays, any other. Then there are chances of the amenorrhea. And sarcoidosis, that you already know, that is a chronic disease that's unknown cause, the formation of nodules or tumors in the different parts of the body. Okay, so these are the causes under the pituitary. I am repeating, this pituitary adenoma, that is non-cancerous tumor, Sheehan syndrome, injury to a pituitary at the time of the birth, and this will lead to a decreased production. Next, prolactinemia, high blood level of prolactin, and they can cause a prolactinoma, that is a tumor. Any tumor around the pituitary, then postpartum pituitary necrosis, cells will be dead. Autoimmune hypophysitis, cell of the pituitary gland, they are destroyed by body's own defense system. Pituitary radiation and sarcoidosis. These are the causes under the pituitary. Next, it is endocrine. Okay? So endocrine, there is we can say that it is a main organ which stimulates all the hormones. Okay? So if hypothyroidism is there, means hypo means decrease and thyroidism decrease production of the thyroid hormones, then it can lead to the amenorrhea. Next, there is a ovarian causes. Okay, ovary is also responsible for the amenorrhea. Okay, so how the ovaries they are responsible, that we will see. So conditions under the ovaries, they are first, that is a gonadal dysgenesis. Gonadals, you can say that's a gonads. Okay? That is female and male both. And dysgenesis, that is this condition, it is one of the congenital developmental disorders of the reproductive system. It can occur both in the male and in the female. If the conditions is there, gonadal dysgenesis is there, then there is a defective development of the gonads in the embryo itself. In that we can see that the defective developments of the testes and ovaries will be there. That is known as the gonadal dysgenesis. Next, that is a gonadal failure. Means they are not able to develop a proper, or they are not able to develop any of the testes and ovary to both gonads, either in the male or in the female. Next, that is a PCOS. PCOS is, that is, you may know that polycystic ovarian syndrome. It is also known as PCOD, that is polycystic ovarian disease. Okay, it's a condition under which there is a certain cysts are formed inside the ovary. Okay? So these are the rest are there. That is first, that is an ovulation. Okay, ovulation, you know that is release of the mature ovum, and N means there is absence. Means there is no any ovulation is there. That is known as the N ovulation. As you know that the ovulation that is only occurs due to the process that is forms under the ovary, that is primary oocyte, secondary oocyte, then release of mature ovum is there, so they are not formed. Next, there is a hyperandrogenemia. Okay, androgens, that is a male hormone. So if there is high blood levels of the male hormones are there, then there is a amenorrhea. Next, premature ovarian failure means ovaries they are not mature enough that they can release the ovum at every month. Next disorder, that is congenital disorders, we can say that is a Turner syndrome. Okay, Turner syndrome, it is one of the genetic disorder that is characterized by underdeveloped ovaries. Means there is ovaries they are not properly developed, absence of menstrual onset and short stretchers. Means the girls they are having amenorrhea, and the short stretcher means the height of the girls that is also low. In the Turner syndrome, if you can see that the girls they are born with only one X chromosome. If you think about the genetic, there are two X chromosomes will be there, but under the Turner syndrome there is only one X chromosome. Okay? Next, pure gonadal dysgenesis that we already discussed, that is defective developments of the ovary in the females. Next, that is radiation or chemotherapy. If the girls or women they have undergone any treatment of the radiation or chemotherapy, then it can lead to the amenorrhea. Next, there is galactosemia. Okay, galactose, that is related to the galactose. It's a disorder in which the galactose is accumulate in the body. Next, any of the anatomical abnormality of the genital tract, either that is in the ovary, tubes, or any other part, then they can lead to a amenorrhea. Next, intrauterine adhesions. Okay? Adhesions means the two structures they are stick together. Okay? And intrauterine means the two layers or two structures they are attached with each other inside the uterine cavity. Next, imperforate hymen. Hymen, you know that the layer that's outside of the vagina, in which there is no opening. Means the hymen is intact, there is no opening. The membranes they are completely closes of the vagina. So if menstruation is there, then also it is accumulated, but it is not able to come out. Okay? And there is a hematoma or accumulation of the blood inside the vagina. Next, transverse vaginal septum. Means there is a dividing wall in the vagina. And aplasia means absence of the any organ or the tissues. For example, if vagina, cervix, uterus will be absent, then it can lead to the amenorrhea. So these are the causes under the ovary. I'm repeating, gonadal dysgenesis, that is a disorders in that the defective ovaries will be there. Failures means no any developments of the ovaries. PCOS or PCOD, polycystic ovarian syndrome or disease. Anovulation, absence of the ovulation. Hyperandrogenemia, high blood levels of the male hormones. Premature ovarian failures, then the Turner syndrome, woman with only one X chromosome, then exposure to the radiation and chemotherapy to a woman, galactosemia, excessive or the accumulation of the galactose, anatomical abnormalities of the genital tract, intrauterine adhesions, imperforate hymens, transverse vaginal septums, and the aplasia. This is absence of the organ or the tissues. Next, there is outflow tract. Outflow tract in its terms that we have already discussed under the ovarian factors, that is a congenital absence of the uterus and the vagina. Means uterus, vagina, or cervix they are absent. Vaginal iteration. Okay, there is no proper development of the vagina. Imperforate hymen. Means there is no any opening under the hymen. It can be there. And other common conditions, that is if chronic diseases like tuberculosis can be there, excessive weight gain or excessive weight loss by a woman, then malnutrition deficiency disorders can be there, any psychiatric disorders like depression or other, and recreational drug abuse. If they are completely dependent on a drug abuse, then it can lead to excessive stress, excessive exercises, and certain medications they can also alter or they can change the a they can lead to the amenorrhea. Here you can see the diagram of the imperforate hymen. Means the hymen layer is intact and inside that there are chances that the menstrual blood can be accumulated. Imperforate hymen, it represents one from the failure to complete the canalization of the vagina, and there is obstructive anomalies of the female genital tract. Means it obstructs or it prevents the menstrual blood to come out. It is associated with the cyclic abdominal pain, abdominal swelling, and urinary retention. So if the girls they are having abdominal pain, cyclic, then swelling, and urinary retention, they have to consult to a physician. A bluish bulging membrane at the introitus here can be seen. This is a diagram of the Turner syndrome. Okay, it is a gonadal dysgenesis. Under that, the woman's. Here you can see that only one X chromosome to a female is there. Okay, so there are ovarian tissues and primary amenorrhea can be there. Okay, the height, they are very short stature, webbed neck, and increased carrying angle at the elbows, and sexual infantilism can be there. Here androgen insensitivity, okay, or testicular feminization. This is also abnormalities of the chromosome, a syndrome found in patient with XY chromosome but rises to the androgens. Okay, means the karyotype 45XX instead that is 45XY in the female. Okay, and they are associating to the androgen, means developments of the male hormones will be unresponsive. The female appears with normal breast developments and the external genital organs, but they are having primary amenorrhea and absent uterus and the gonad and testis. Next, how we can assess the amenorrhea, that is we have to take the complete history, next examination and the investigation of the mothers. Okay. So assessments, that is a most common cause of secondary amenorrhea, that is due to the pregnancy. So complete history should be taken. A good history, it can reveal the etiology and diagnose in up to 85% cases. History regarding the height, weight, nutritional deficiency, radiation, each and everything should be assessed. Okay. Now, clinical assessment history, we have to ask about the following points. First, it is a menstrual cycle, age of menarche, if secondary, and previous menstrual history, if there. History regarding the previous pregnancy, if TPH is there, it is postpartum hemorrhage, weight changes, excessively weight gain, excessively weight loss, hot flushes, decrease in the libido, and premature menopause. Uses of the medication, uses of the contraception, associated symptoms, and any gynecological surgeries. Okay. Next assessment, we have to check for BMI, that is body mass index, blood pressure that is elevated in the women or girls with the PCOS, that is androgen excess, means excess production of the male hormone, hirsutism, that is growing of hair at the cheek, and virilization, that is the tumors that are from around the ovaries. Secondary sexual characteristics must be asked. Features of the Turner syndrome, which we already discussed. Assessments of the breast examination, assessments of the abdominal and pelvic mass, inspection of the genitalia, in that imperforate hymen, cervical stenosis can be there, then it needs to be assessed. Okay. If the history and physical examination that are suggestive of certain etiology. Then we have to take some times be more directed to find out the cause. Some patients will not demonstrate any obvious etiology for their amenorrhea on history and physical examinations, means we cannot identify the cause. And these patients can be worked up in the logical manner using a stepwise approach. Investigations, what can be done, then the blood test, ultrasound, CT scan of pituitary gland, karyotyping, and laparoscopy. Okay, that you all maybe know blood test, that is a another blood test. There must be a hormonal study that the level of hormone that is secreted by the pituitary glands and the ovaries, FSH, LH, TSH, prolactin, and the estrogen. Next, the second, that is ultrasound, that is ultrasonography of the pelvis to check if there is any abnormality of the genital tract and to look for the polycystic ovarian disease. CT scan or MRI of the pituitary and hypothalamic to assess the cause. Next, karyotyping to check if any Turner syndrome or other syndromes or chromosomal abnormalities, then it can be known by the karyotyping. And last, that is a laparoscopic. Laparoscopic, it's a complete examination of the whole pelvic organs. Okay? Additional tests that we can check, that is a thyroid function test, derivation of prolactin level, assessments of the fallopian tubes, and hysteroscopy, that is visual inspection of the uterine cavities. Okay, so these are the tests that needs to be carried out with the patients with the amenorrhea. Okay. Next, sites of the disorders. Okay. According to which sites what we can assess. If the hypothalamic is a cause, then FSH, LH, and estradiol will be blue. If pituitary is a cause, then pituitary adenoma. Then the prolactin, FSH, LH, and estradiol will be low. If the ovaries they are affected, then FSH, LH, estradiol, and karyotyping will be changes. If Mullerian tract, it is Mullerian duct, means absence of the uterus and absence of other organs, then PCT is negative and karyotyping that is done. PCT, it's a procalcitonin test which helps to assess any sepsis inside organs, and genital tract, then all will be normal but PCT is negative. And examination, we can see the imperforate hymen. This is a simple diagram by which we can see this vagina. If there is absence, then pubic hair. If yes, then the congenital uterovaginal egenesis, imperforate hymen, complete septum can be done. If no, then complete androgen insensitivity syndrome. If yes, then you have to check for the progesterone level, estrogen level. And if the breast development is normal, then the levels will be checked, and if it is not, then FSH level, that is follicle stimulating hormone, can be checked. And after that, we have to check for the chromosomal abnormalities and assessments of the ovary. The treatment of amenorrhea that depends upon the cause. If the pituitary tumors is there, then bromocriptine it can be given. Bromocriptine, it's a medication, dopamine receptor, which prevents or which stops the secretion of the prolactin, and surgery to remove the tumors. Next, androgen producing tumors of the ovary is there, then they are removed by the surgeon. Testicular feminization is there, then the removal of the gonads plus HRT, is hormonal replacement therapy is given. Turner syndrome is there, hormonal replacement therapy is the only treatment. Imperforate hymen, then surgical incision is given at the hymen and removal of the cyst blood. Thyroid disorders are there, then appropriate medical treatments they are given to treat the thyroid disorders. Eating disorders, that is anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa is there, then the patients they are referred to a psychiatrist. PCOS, that is polycystic ovarian syndrome, then the appropriate treatments according to the hormonals and the surgery it can be done. Next, Asherman syndrome. Under the Asherman syndrome, there are two layers or two structures. They are fused together. They are breaking down the adhesions. We have to break down the adhesions. Plus, hormonal therapies are also continuous. Plus, insertion of the IOCD, that is intrauterine copper devices, are there. Okay. Uh, Treatment of amenorrhea for those women who wants to conceive the pregnancy. Okay. And ovulation means there are no ovulation, then response well the ovulation induction treatment. Okay. So medications are given to induce the ovulation. It's a clomiphene citrate. It's a commonly used medication for the ovulation. PCOS, that is ovulation may resume with the weight reduction. If the weight is higher, then the women are instructed to reduce the weight. Fertility drugs, for example, the use of gonadotropins or ovarian drilling can be done. Next, hyperprolactinemia, then respond to a treatment with the dopamine agonist. Hypothalamic dysfunction is the cause, then maintenance of the normal weight and changes of the lifestyle. That exercise, some medications can be there. If Asherman syndrome is there, then breaking down the adhesion and insertion of the IUCD can be done. If the women they want a regular period, then they have to use a combined oral contraceptives with hormonal replacement therapy. And if they need a contraception, and if there is a confirmed ovarian failure will not require contraception, and the woman they require contraception, those they are oral contraceptives, they are the method of the choice. Okay, so these are about the amenorrhea, that the management of the amenorrhea, that is depending on the cause that we have already discussed. Okay, in that most common the drug therapies are there, surgeries can be there, nutrition and supplements they are given to treat the deficiency disorders in the malnutrition. Next, to control or to balance the weights, physical medicines. There are some medications that increase circulation and they relieve the pelvic pain due to the congestion. And lastly, complementary and alternative therapies. It can also be help for maintaining a proper diet, weight, and the exercise. So that's all about the amenorrhea. In shortly, we will revise the amenorrhea two types, that is physiological and the pathological. Under the physiological, before puberty, during pregnancy, and the menopause. And under the pathological, that is primary and secondary two are there. Next causes, that is hypothalamic, pituitary, ovarian, or we can say that's a functional causes. Next, we have seen the clinical manifestations, that is mostly the women can have the absence of the menstruation, that's a common or basic signs of amenorrhea. Next, sometimes the headache, abnormal blood pressures, acne, excessive hair growth, excessive anxiety, nausea, headache, vision problems can be there. Yeah, diagnosis, blood test, ultrasonography, CT scan, MRI, then laparoscopy, thyroid test, other can be done. In the management, drugs, surgery, nutrition, supplements, physical medications, complementary and alternative therapies, and based on the cause, the management can be done. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Thank you.